Assalamualaikum. So inshallah we will start our third session today with Dr. Mazli Malik, and after that we will continue with fourth session after Dr. Mazli finish his session. Okay. Do we have any issue during the break ataupun with restaurant ke? Everything also okay lah. Okay lah. So we continue in our third session.
Apa dia?
Lebih kurang berapa jam?
Lebih kurang. Sampai saya habis, kena habis tak? Ya, ini. Okay. Hah? Depan sikit, okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kalau tak pakai ni tak dengar. Tak dengar. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'in. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulil amin wa ba'd. Yeah? Nearer. Oh ya, kuat. Hey, how come all these familiar faces, huh? Usual suspects. There's no new faces. Okay, tak apa. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'in. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulil amin. So I suppose this whole course of maqasid and usulul fiqh supposed to be conducted in English. Am I right? Yeah. So are you happy if I deliver it in Bahasa instead of English? Huh? Syed Nuruddin, he already know all this stuff I'm going to talk about. Huh? English? Ayo. Mandarin? Cannot. Mandarin saya pun tak reti. Okay, so when Lim asked me to be part of this, I don't know what you call it, a short course or daurah. Sometimes people call it daurah, and okay, short course on usul al-fiqh. You know, I'm having in my mind the usual suspect faces is one thing, but another thing I was thinking of a more casual one. You know, rather than the classroom atmosphere. So I told him, why don't we just turn it into discussion? Because sometimes, you know, when the word courses is very misleading. I'm not sure, but you have paid some amount of money, so you'll be expecting, you know, something which worth of what you have paid. But again, for me, it's not about the technical things or those stuff that normally the handouts and etc. It's more about what you can bring home and what you could apply from all this, let we say, technical things that you're going to learn. Because normally when we're dealing with maqasid, we're dealing with usul al-fiqh, at the end of the day, we found that okay, it's a nice thing to know, it's a nice thing to learn about, but you find a bit difficulty in bringing it into reality. So I did ask Brother Lim to give me these two topics which I suppose is very close to our life, which will give a lot of solutions to our daily problems and issues, which are these two topics in usul fiqh, istishab and saddu zara'i, sometimes they call it. Have you heard of these two things before? Tak pernah lagi? Okay, good. Tapi ramai dah tahu tak boleh kelentong ni. Okay, so istishab and saddu zarai. I suppose that some of you are familiar with these two terminologies and some might have heard of it but not in details. And I suppose that a lot of others have gone through this. But instead of going into technical things, and korang UIA dah belajar, itu orang ambil dengan saya dia orang ni. Boleh dapat A lagi kan? So why should you be here? Go somewhere else. Spend time doing dakwah. Recap. Oh dah dapat A dah, apa nak datang kelas lagi? Ya betul, they got A with me. I'm a very generous lecturer lah. Masuk lip naik sendiri kan? Okay, so istishab and saddu zarai. Istishab, sometimes we might not familiar with that word, with that name, but in our daily life, we always use istishab. Saddu zarai, I mean the same. In our daily life, we always resort to saddu zarai. We know about it. Be it in our ibadah, be it in our muamalat, or be it in our, decision making. Either on our personal issues or in a more larger scale, in our workplace or in family life, etc. Normally we resort to saddu zarai. Okay, saddu zarai is blocking the means to evil. Blocking the means to evil. Kita menutup jalan kepada dosa. Menutup jalan daripada kemungkaran. Ramai dah tahu, dah angguk banyak kali. Istishab, trying to define it is very tricky, but the implementation of istishab is very simple. Okay, istishab literally, it will means you're making a companion or you're walking together. That is istishab, literally. But technically, it has a lot of meanings. But the simplest meaning is going back to the original state of things. Okay, tak apa. Kita tak mau pening-pening tentang definition. Normally when you learn about fiqh, especially those from UIA, you're familiar with this. The meaning of this thing, literally and technically. It helps a lot. It helps a lot in your academic life. But when it comes to practicality, kita langsung pergi ni. Okay, I give you few problems that we're going to solve with these two, let me say, methods. Before we go furthermore, can I take? I just came all the way from Singapore, Singapore. So I was talking with this taxi driver. He's a very knowledgeable person. You couldn't imagine taxi driver talking with me about world politics, about all these Islamic fiqh things, usul fiqh thing, maqasid and etc. Anyway, he was formerly a technician at SIA, but retrenched, and he got older, 60 plus. He ended up driving a taxi. So he was asking me about this Haji title, Haji and Hajjah. In our custom, in the Malay custom, normally anybody who came back from Haji, they got Haji title. Haji Alex, for example. In Brunei, they need to change their name in their ID. Dekat dia punya IC card. The moment you go to Haji, you must put the Haji. So, my friend, seriously, okay, kita dulu itu macam, we used to do that. I mean, during maybe my grandfather's day and maybe during, not my father's day sangat lah, tapi our grandfather's days. Balik Haji, they will change their name. Put Haji or Hajjah. And people will get angry if you don't address them with that Haji. Saya sudah Haji tau. Jangan main-main Okay. So my friend, being this term called golongan sunnah, nowadays is very notorious. People call Wahhabi. He has this kind of literalist approach. And normally literalists, geng sunnah ni, they don't really pay attention to usul fiqh. There's a lot of other methods in understanding Quran and Sunnah. For that, it's only Quran and Sunnah. If it's not mentioned Quran and Sunnah, just forget about it. Sometimes they don't realize that a lot of other things actually rooted back to Quran and Sunnah, but the way you understand it, the way you bring it. So the same thing goes with this Haji. He said, people call me Haji. I mean, he's 60 plus. I said, no, I got very irritated. People call me Haji. I asked him, kenapa bang? If they want to call me Haji, why should call Haji? I also perform the other 5 pillars of Islam. They should call me Musalli, means I'm performing Salah. I also do Zakat, Muzaki, and I also Siam, Saim. Should call all those. I'm not only performing Hajj, I also do. Okay lah, tak apalah, kita kasih chance. Bila kita. And furthermore, he said, look, the companions, they never used the word Hajj in front of their name. They came back from Hajj. There's no such thing as Haji Abu Bakar or Haji Omar or Hajah Aisyah, Hajah Fatimah, no such thing. Tak apalah, kasih chance dia buat lah. Buat seronok. And eventually I told him one thing, first and foremost, this has nothing to do with Aqidah. Clear? Nothing to do with Aqidah. Okay. So when it's nothing to do with Aqidah, it's open for innovation and okay. And number 2 is nothing to do with ibadat. You're not going to use the title Haji to make yourself closer to God. It's not a kind of ritual. It's not a kind of ibadat, something. And it is not something which is qat'i. It is not something which is dealing with the fundamental of religion. It's not, bukannya benda yang halal haram. So it goes back to what? To custom, to uruf. So I asked him, bang, do you know where all this kind of title Haji or whatever come from? Do you know how it started? Say, I don't know lah, this Malay stuff lah. Sometimes we keep blaming Malays. All these Malay cultures, we got confused. Is Malay or Islam? Sometimes we got confused whether this is cultural stuff or Islamic stuff. And we started saying that, ini Melayu banyak buat bid'ah lah. Malays like to make innovation or whatever. But wait, don't jump to conclusion. Why Malays ended up coming out with this kind of customs? There must be something behind it. There must be some historical root back to it. There must be some explanation behind it. It's not easy because it's been rooted in the community and nobody opposes it. The fact that, throughout the centuries, throughout the decades, not even a single ulama, not even a single alim went against it. Kan? Maksudnya that's something good. I don't want to use the word bid'ah hasanah or whatever because it has nothing to do with bid'ah hasanah. Itu benda ibadat. I'm talking about uruf, about custom. You're taking something on custom kan? Ke dah? Belum ke? Tak apa, ni kita ambil contoh sikit lah. So, sorry, I have to mix. Sometimes I might use Urdu as well. Kyale. Okay, so kau tak boleh cakap Urdu. Okay, so we're about. Okay, so I asked him, do you know that in the past it's not easy to go to Hajj? And now it's not that easy too, but at least it's easier, much easier. Then there was no visa kind of thing. Definitely, you don't need to wait for visa for tabung haji queue or whatever. Kan? The only thing you need to what? Kapal laut lah, definitely. You're going by sea, but again, you need to have your own saving. It's not easy. It will take months. The journey will take months. And it's not, sometimes years. And it's not only about that sea journey, but within the journey. And in most cases, in some cases, not most cases, in some cases, you'd find that people went to Hajj, never come back. And they're happy not to come back. They're happy to die either in Mecca or Medina or in the journey. For them, it's a kind of honor. It's a kind of, you die on your way to Hajj. So it's not a simple thing. It's a big thing. It's a big thing, number one. And number two, do you know that Malay community, we are very feudalistic community. Title means a lot. Datuk, Datuk Seri, Tan Sri, Tun, and etc. And in the past, it's not easy to get Datuk. Nowadays, you have 200K, you can get Datuk. Maybe not from Malaysia, but you go to Cambodia or you go to, I don't know, somewhere else, Aceh or wherever you go, or Mindanao. But in the past, it's not easy. Nuruddin, somebody need to explain to Nuruddin about this Datuk Ship, Datuk Sri, Tan Sri. You know, in the past, it's only those who work in palace or those who has connection to the palace, to the monarchs. Orang yang baik dengan istana, kerabat, whatever. Your Tok Pengulu, orang kaya daerah, you know, those kind of things. And it means social strata, it means status. But what about small people like us? What about, in Indonesia they call it wong cilik, orang kecil. Wong tu orang, bahasa Jawa, cilik, kecil, orang kecil, marhain. What about normal people like us? We cannot be Datuk, we cannot be Datuk Sri, we cannot be Tun, Tan Sri, whatever. So the only available title that we could get is Haji or Hajah. No, I'm not joking. It has its historical things. Number two. And number three, do you know, it's a kind of reminder. It's a kind of reminder to those who bear that title. If you're Haji, mind you, you're Haji. Don't play, yeah? You already perform Haji, you are Hajah. That is why P. Ramlee was very clever. He was very smart. You know Haji Bakhil? You know the movie Haji Bakhil? You need to watch that movie, Nuruddin. It's very important. One thing about P. Ramlee, I mean, people, when they watch P. Ramlee, they enjoy watching it, they keep laughing. They realize that actually most of P. Ramlee movies is a social critic against the community. It's not only against Malays, against Malaysia, Singapore community. So Haji Bakhil is very significant. Why Haji Bakhil? Musang berjanggut, Datuk nikah kahwin, and all those kind of stuff. It's critics against religious authority. Okay, coming back to Haji Bakhil, it's critics against those who are bearing that Haji, but they're not acting like one. Kan? Wah, dengan Cikgu Norma dia gigil-gigil lah begitu. So it's a reminder when you carry that Haji title or Hajah title, people call you Pak Haji, Abang Haji. Weh, alamak, aku sudah naik Haji ya. Oh, I already perform Hajj. I should behave like one. You know, it's kind of reminder. So I told him, it's not something easy. It's not something to take light. Maybe in our cosmopolitan life, it doesn't mean a lot. But just to say it's ini bid'ah or ini benda ni tak boleh pakai, tak dalam Islam. No, don't say that. Don't say that. Because whatever happened, this Islamo-Malay culture that exists, actually it has its, meanings. It has its roots. Okay lah, maybe it's not applicable anymore in our life, but we cannot simply dismiss it. Okay? Tak boleh belittle it. Okay, that is uruf. That's one of the example of uruf. But now we are going back to istisab and saddu zara'i. Okay, which one do you want to go first? The evil one or the good one? The evil one. Okay, saddu zara'i is simple. The other day I was giving this training to Bank Islam security company. So the topic is about saddu zara'i, Terrorism Financing Act, TFA, and saddu zara'i. You know, nowadays, initially we have AMLA, we have an Anti-Money Laundering Act, which will, it was enacted just after September 11, just to prevent the money goes to finance terrorism and etc. And also it tried to stop money laundering. It's not only terrorism, talking about money laundering. Malaysia is a heaven for money laundering. No, it's not Malaysia, it's Singapore. Last night, was it last night or early this morning, I was watching the news, and it was talking about how Indonesian tycoons is doing their money laundering activities in Singapore. Properties and all those kind of things. And now a lot of banks are having problem, especially after 1MDB. This 1MDB case is real, it's real, and it's going to cause a lot of trouble in Singapore. But I know it's not only Singapore, other places as well. Kan? Sebab due to this MDB case, a lot of financial institutions, international financial institutions, going to get exposed. Post-Snowden era, there's no more secret in financial activities. You know Snowden? Edward Snowden, Itu apa tu? WikiLeaks. Okay, now you cannot hide anything anymore when it comes to financial whatever. So the topic was about Terrorism Financing Act. Now, AMLA is not enough. Anti-Money Laundering Act is not enough. They have a lot of new laws in order to prevent money laundering. And the recent one, they are dealing with what? Terrorism financing. And this terrorism financing is very tricky and is very dangerous. Anybody could be convicted through this act, this new law. Okay, I'm giving you an example. I've been doing this for the last, since a year, since last year. I was invited by Penjara Sungai Buloh to give some rehab session to the IS detainees, or IS-related detainees. Those who have been detained, before they've been convicted before the law, before the court, they'll be brought to Sungai Buloh. So Sungai Buloh asked me to give some fortnight session with them, 2 minggu sekali, a kind of counseling lah. But I'm not a licensed counseling. I'm not a trained counselor, so I cannot give counseling. What can I do is just discuss with them. So some of those detainees, they are going to get convicted. Why? Because they were helping either their brothers, or either their friends, or either their, maybe let me say, office mates who are going to jihad, or who went to jihad in Syria. But because this guy channeled the money to that person over there, or he raised some fund from his relatives to help his brother, or to help his friend, or to help his office mate who are already in Syria, and that guy is in the blacklist of our SB, so this guy can be convicted. Although he has nothing to do with any activities of his friend. This financial terrorism act, you can get convicted with it. Okay, for example, you are channeling certain fund to your friend in Syria who's joining ISIS, whatever. Why? Because, you used to owe him certain amount of money and you feel obliged, one thing. And another thing, you feel that, oh, he's doing good thing. Buat jihad lawan negeri. So, why not? I cannot go. Why don't I berjihad dengan duit? Why don't I contribute some amount of money for him? With your transaction, they manage to trace, you can get convicted with it. So we were discussing about this. The topic was about blocking the means. So I say, giving money, giving donation is okay. It's okay, nothing wrong giving donation. But you're giving donation to a person there who went to so-called jihad by participating with IS, that jihad itself is considered illegal. And when you're doing that, although giving donation and doing charity is good, but in that case you're doing charity, you're giving donation is considered haram. Because you're going to put yourself into destruction, you're going to put yourself into problem, and you're going to support that guy to get involved in that kind of activities. So, that is Sadhu Zara'i. Khalas, subhanakallahumma bihamdika. You know what I mean? Okay, but I gave them another example. In the 80s, I really miss those 80s, 70s period. I'm not that old. You are, Pakcik. Yeah. Yeah. The 70s, 80s, people are more honest. People live in, I think, we don't lie that much in compared to these days. Kan? Kau mana tahu kau budak-budak lagi? No, really. You know, then there was no smartphone. There was always, you know, public phone. And sometimes in one kampung, we only use one public phone. And sometimes we are lucky enough to have somebody who has phone inside his house, and the whole kampung are using that phone. You still remember that? And everybody knows each other. I still remember, in the 70s, I was known in my kampung as Cucu Mak Haji. Cucu, because I live with my grandparents. So they were known as Mak Haji and Pak Haji. Wah, ni Cucu Mak Haji, anak beda. So whenever the telephone rang and anybody just pick up the phone and said, I want to talk with Cucu Mak Haji. Yeah? Definitely it's not now. They said, after an hour, or maybe tomorrow at 3 o'clock, what we will do? Okay, the one who pick up the phone, he will go directly, he or she will go directly to Cucu Mak Haji. Cucu Mak Haji, tadi ada orang telefon kau tadi. Dia nak bual lagi 1 jam. Cucu Mak Haji, somebody call you, and after an hour, is going to call you back. You better go to the public phone. What we will do? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour before that, we will be waiting. Am I right? Am I right? Okay. Or maybe he said, he's going to call you at 3 tomorrow. 2:30, I'll be waiting for it. The same thing. You know, I want to make an appointment with you. We are about the same age. Kita kata, okay, I write a letter to you. Okay, Alex, we meet at 18 September, 3 o'clock at Komta, for example. That the only thing in my mind is Komta. Komta JB, not Komta Penang. Okay, Komta JB. You know, 3 o'clock. I said 3 o'clock, By 2:30, everybody will be there. You will be there, I will be there. We're afraid of being late. Am I right? That was the time. We're living with integrity, we're living with honesty, we're living with sincerity. But nowadays, 3:30, you 3:30. Hey, hello, where are you? On my way. Lagi mandi. On my way, lagi kat rumah kan. On my way. Mana you punya way kan? We begin to lose all this kind of. What it has to do with Sadhu Zara'i? No. You know, what I'm trying to make my point anyway. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, in the 80s or in the 70s, you're old enough to remember this. You still remember the term orang dakwah? Orang dakwah, it was very notorious. It's a negative thing. Orang dakwah. Nowadays, we could see Shakiri, Lim, and everybody talking freely about doing dakwah. And people are happy. Wow, buat dakwah. Politicians are talking about dakwah. Yesterday, we had a big dakwah thing, and people are talking about dakwah. And in newspapers, everybody talking about dakwah. Even artists, even, you know, athletes talking about, I'm doing my dakwah. In the past, you know, when you use the word dakwah, it's very notorious. People are associating dakwah with deviant teachings, ajaran sesat, extremists. Itu jam ingat serang balai polis Batu Pahat. Those deviants attacking police station in Batu Pahat. Or what else? Hantu kom-kom. You are in this kind of time when people call you hantu kom-kom. You know hantu kom-kom? You know hantu? Ghost. Yeah? You know, because normally people, itu jam zaman tu kan pakai tudung macam tu, Assalamualaikum tu kum orang panggil. And furthermore, looking at you, wearing niqab then was not a fashion like we have nowadays. Nowadays wearing niqab is kind of fashion what. Those days, whoever wearing a niqab, people would call them antu stokin, antu kum, kemah berjalan. Is it remember during the 70s? Yeah. Okay. You know what changed people mindset about purdah then? What changed people's mindset? Yeah, kau budak lagi tak ingat? Brother Muslim, you still remember? What changed people's mindset towards purdah about niqab? No, it was not Arkam. People got very irritated with Arkam. It was M. Nasir. M. Nasir, you still remember lagu M. Nasir? Gadis nan berpurdah. M. Nasir, Sifu M. Nasir, not our Sifu Nasir. M. Nasir, the singer, you still remember his song? In the early 80s, I think 1980 or 79. Yeah? Alamak, saya tak reti nyanyi ya. He created a song about gadis yang berpurdah. I still remember the lyrics somehow. You should sing the song, Alex. About dia punya gentak saya na 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 na. Yeah, dia punya rentak macam tu. It talks about, I mean, he's saying that, oh, there is one girl wearing purdah or wearing niqab, and I'm so ashamed of myself to say Assalamualaikum to her. But I know she has good intention. I know, yeah, looking at myself, we are too far from each other. You know, those kind of things. And because of that song, people change their perception towards purdah. Thanks to music. Thanks to the artist. It's not the ustaz, it's not the ulama who changed the perception of the community towards certain Islamic things, but it was M. Nasir. You couldn't recall Tak ingat lah. Yeah? Oh, ninja itu satu hal juga. Yes, ninja itu. People call them ninja. Hantu kum, hantu stokin, kemah bergerak, whatever. Okay, that's one thing. But another thing, you still remember, those orang dakwah also created a lot of problems. Sorry if you were orang dakwah during those period. You still remember, they were throwing away their television. Ingat lagi kan? Throwing inside the river. Throwing away their television and throwing away the settees and sofa, the couch, because it's not Islamic enough. The Islamic way of style is sitting on the floor. You want to eat, you eat in talam. You know, in tray. Bukan tilam, talam. Dulang. Okay. You eating inside the tray. You cannot eat alone, because alone that's not sunnah. The sunnah way is to eat congregationally. And we are eating is 3 fingers. Must know that, 3 fingers. Kan, makan. And the way sitting, you know, those kind of things. Ini orang dakwah pun satu hal juga. Kan? They created these kind of things. But the most important thing is throwing away the telly. Throwing away the telly. Throwing away the radio. Why? Because they are haram. It will lead to haram. Anything that leads to haram is haram. This is Sadhu Zara'i. So, could you agree? Throwing away the telly, not using, Mac ni lagi ni American stuff. My socialist friend, ni tak Muslim pun, he's practicing Sadhu Zara'i. He's a very staunch Marxist. He doesn't use Mac. He doesn't use iPhone. Whenever they see me, he said, "You're becoming American stooges. You're supporting American economy." Yeah. So, he's practicing Sadhu Zara'i, blocking the means to evil. Okay. That is Sadhu Zara'i. But ulama, our usuliyin, our scholars of fiqh, when they're dealing with this kind of blocking the means to evil, they're very cautious. It's not that easy. Bukan senang-senang. Nampak semua, blocking the means to evil or whatever. Or else you ended up like in Saudi Arabia. Women are not allowed to drive car. Why? Because of Saddu Zara'i. Because when they are driving alone, what will happen? Accident? No, men always lagi banyak accident daripada woman. Kan? Sebab apa? Dia kata they will they will go and meet their boyfriend, or those kind of things. So in order to block them, to stop, to deter it to happen, we must not allow women from driving the car. Saddu Zara'i. So that is the extreme way in looking into Saddu Zara'i. Or in some places, no internet. Why? Because internet will lead you to evil. No telly, it will lead you to evil. And the current trends in I'm not sure, even in Malaysia, I suppose, or even in Singapore, in the States. But again, it's a matter of choice. I respect people's choice. They said that we're not sending our children to school anymore. Why? Because they got exposed to a lot of bad things, and because, those kind of things, they got exposed to a lot of evil when they're mixing with other, and somehow at schools, there's a free mixing between boys and girls, so I'm not sending my children to school, I'm making a homeschooling. Some of them have a very good intention. I have few friends, both are lecturers, they purposely do not want to send their children to school because they want to teach their children. Okay, itu case lain, kan? But for them, their children deserve to learn more. And if they go to school, they're going to be limited with the curriculum or whatever. Okay, that's one thing. But there are people who decided not to send their children to school to prevent them from evil. Saddu Zara'i. But these are the extreme examples of Saddu Zara'i. Okay, kita belajar dengan tengok yang tak betul dulu. Okay, we're trying to look at the negative side or the extreme side of Saddu Zara'i, which does not represent Saddu Zara'i. Okay, the real Saddu Zara'i, normally ulama or usuliyun divided Saddu Zara'i into four categories. The first category is things that definitely will lead to evil, or definitely will lead to destruction. For example, I'm bringing a very classical example. In many fiqh encyclopedia or fiqh books, when they're talking about Saddu Zara'i, when they're giving the example of this first category of Saddu Zara'i, they will say, like a person who dig a hole in front of his house with the intention for what? People will fall down. Itu memang jahat itu. Hati Fir'aun sungguh. Kan? And nowadays, maybe people are not digging hole anymore. What they will do? They will put nails on the highway, on the street, so when people hit that, the tire will puncture and they will go to their garage, to your workshop. Kan? Ini definitely, the act itself is haram. Okay. Or I'm giving you a very practical example. Going to masjid. Not masjid. Masjid. Ini biasa sama orang Indonesia enggak? I'm familiar with Indonesian. Indonesians, they love acronyms. Gorpis, goreng pisang. Menlu, menteri luar. Dubes, duta besar. Indonesians, they like acronyms. Putting, cut from this, cut from that. Okay, so masjid is not masjid. If people going to masjid, alhamdulillah, there's no Saddu Zara'i issue. But going to masjid, no, it's not chid, masjid, J juga, masjid. This is haram. Based on Saddu Zara'i. Ini semua orang baik-baik, Alhamdulillah. I learned this from one army general. Masjid is massage dan pijit. Massage dan pijit. It's haram to go to massage dan pijit. Why? It will definitely lead to maksiat. Kan? If not zina pun, tapi all this mukaddimat zina and, and those kashful aura and etc. So, going to masjid is good, but not to masjid. So, ibu-ibu pastikan bapak-bapaknya betul sebutan masjid ada kalkalah. You make sure that your husband are telling you they are going to masjid and not to masjid with T. It's very dangerous. Okay, that's one, blocking the mean. Okay, boleh nampak example Okay, going to massage is okay, provided massage tu kasih orang lelaki. Tapi kalau masjid ini, itu definitely so haram. Okay, what else? You know that in one hadith Rasulullah SAW prohibit 10 person who got involved with intoxicant drink or in wine. It's not only drinking wine, it's not only drinking intoxicant drink, drinking alcohol, but also those who serve it, those who produce it, those who got involved with it, got involved with the transactions, transport it, 10 parties who got involved with it, and Rasulullah SAW prohibited us from sitting together in a majlis or in an occasion where people are purposely, drinking wine and etc. Okay, why? Because of Saddu Zara'i. It leads to that. It leads to that. But there is a question. There's a question, not from Malaysians, but from those who live abroad in Western countries, or not just in Western countries, in Japan, for example. Those who are studying in Japan, normally during their orientation period, they need to attend a dinner with their sensei. What they call it? Nomikai. Yeah, they call it nomikai. It's a kind of ta'aruf session. It's a kind of, getting to know each other session with your sensei. In your very first week, you need to spend time, all the students need to sit together and getting to know with the sensei. Sensei is a lecturer, and normally they drink. So they were in dilemma whether they should attend that or not. The earliest generation, they just go. They orang pun minum sekali. Yeah, the earliest generation during the 80s, you remember when Malaysians were first sent to Japan, it was during Mahathir kan, dasar pandang ke timur. Okay, ataupun cikgu-cikgu itu jam ramai pergi. Most of them were teachers. They were sent there, they all drink just like the Japanese. In Japanese they have their own proverbs. Drunk like a fish. I don't know. Do fish drunk? I have no idea, but that's written in their book. Drunk like a fish. I don't know, fish drunk or what. Okay. But anyway, the first generation. But the later generation, those orang-orang dakwah, budak sekolah agama, those who come from religious school, they were sent to Japan. They have this dilemma. Whether they should attend that, I don't know, what they call it, nomikai. Nobody graduated from Japan? No Japanese here? Tak ada. Nihongjin? Tak ada. Okay. Tak apalah. Tapi maksudnya, that's a must. If you don't attend, then your sensei will never recognize you, and sometimes they got very offended with that. You ended up for your whole period in that university, you're not being recognized by the sensei. So, they're in dilemma. Because say what? Because people are drinking, and I'm there. I'm not supposed to be there because that hadith prohibited us from doing that. So, normally they refuse to go. And sometimes they did go, they don't drink. But the problem is, they are there with those who are drinking, sake or whatever. So, normally when we go there, they will ask this question, repeatedly, Ustaz, can we go, can we attend, whatever. Can they attend that, Nuruddin? What do you think? Based on Sadhu Zarai, they cannot. But, you know, they have two solutions. They have two solutions. Some of those students, before that Nomikai, I think it's Nomikai they call it, because Norikai is exchanging tube from one station to another, interchange, panggil apa? Kan, tukar kan? That is Norikai, and that one is Nomikai. Okay. Before that Nomikai, they will go and meet the sensei. Say, sensei, we are Muslim, we cannot drink. And some of the sensei, due to their exposure, they already know. And sometimes they have already taught how many generations of Malaysians they know about it. Number one. And number two, some of them, they made their own with the sensei. They made their own nomikai. They said, we cannot mix with you guys drinking. Okay. Provided the sensei could understand. But for some sensei, especially those who are stubborn or whatever, I think you need to go to another method in fiqh, which is darurat. You can attend that because you're going to stay there for 4 years, and there's no good to make enemy with the sensei during the very first day. But normally they don't drink. They try to limit their presence there, and they try to grab that opportunity to make da'wah. Because normally people will ask, why don't you drink? Say, I'm Muslim. Muslim cannot drink. We can drink, but water or non-alcoholic drink. So you can make da'wah. Some of them, they took that opportunity to make da'wah. So people are saying, so what about the hadith? Yes, the hadith is there, but again, there are things that will fall into the category of darurat. But, yes? Less harmful. Okay. But darurat tuqadar bi qadariha. So, and darurat must be based on its limitation. Tak boleh kita lebih-lebih pula. Kan? Okay. What about? Okay, that is about Sadhu Zarai. So, number one, things that definitely lead to evil. Okay. Number two, Number two is things that it's not definitely, but most of the time leads to evil or leads to destruction. The very classical example is what? Selling grapes to winemaker. Ini contoh paling klasik. Selling grapes, you have vineyard. Orang panggil kebun anggur apa? Vineyard. You have vineyard, and you are selling your grapes to a wine factory. Definitely. Selling grape is okay. If you're selling it at Pasar Malam, you're selling it to groceries, you're selling it to, fruit sellers, it's okay. It's halal. Halal and tayyiban. But the moment you sell it to the wine factory, and you know it's a wine factory, okay? And they're going to produce wine from your grapes, that's it. It's haram. It's haram. Okay. Though people might say, maybe not all the grapes will be used to make wine. Maybe some of them they used to make sparkling water, sparkling juice. Maybe some of them they make grape juice, whatever. But again, it's a wine factory. Kau mau tipu-tipu ah? Budget lah, kan? Okay, that's. Or selling weapons to the enemies during the time of war. But talking about selling weapons to the enemy, this is what really happening all around the world. War means profit to some people. War means profit. Kadang-kadang, I still remember people were asking me, said, hey, look at those, for example, susah lah nak kasih ni, agak sensitif sikit tapi lah, sometimes some guerrilla armies or rebels or whatever, they have their weapon. People are thinking, hey, where did they get them from? I say, when it comes to money, you'll be surprised. about how it managed to change people. Kan? Money. Kan? So, selling weapons to the enemies during the time of war, itu kira haram. Walaupun, although selling weapons, the original hukum of selling weapons is halal. Everything is halal, everything is permissible. But you know that is going to be used against your own people. So it'd be haram. Okay, what else? Other example. The fund. Channeling fund to those fighters who are joining IS, whatever. It falls into the second category. The first category and the second category, ulama said that anything that leads to haram is considered haram. Or in Arabic, they call it al-wasila ta'khuzu hukm al-ghaya. Means is taking the hukum of the aims. Kan? Although the means could be halal initially, but because it will lead towards haram, so it becomes haram. Could you give me any other example in our daily life? Yeah. It depends where you live. If you live in the States, it's okay, because the Second Amendment said you are allowed to do so. But still, depends on certain states in the United States of America. But here, definitely, it's haram. Why? You ended up being convicted as melancarkan peperangan terhadap yang di Pertuan Agong. You know, kan orang yang bawa senjata kan, you are considered that, or you will be convicted under Akta Senjata Api in penal code, which leads to persecution, death sentence. Jadi janganlah buat macam gitu. Kau dah tahu tak boleh, kau nak bawa juga, kan? Okay, what else? Practical example lah. Ini senjata api apa kau cakap? Okay, selling your building conventional foreign bank. You know, nowadays, even foreign bank, if they want to operate in Malaysia, they will be, I don't want to say forced, but kind of forced to have an Islamic counter or Islamic products. Do you know that? Oh, come again?
This company was client, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
This company is a foreign bank. Okay, they said, okay, we will, since it's being ruled by the European negara, then we have to have Islamic banking.
Yep.
But we're going to have both Islamic banking and conventional.
Yeah.
So can I sell?
It will fall under the third category. Kita belum masuk lagi. Third category, there's a dispute among ulama, but majority say it will not be affected. Sebab banking is not all about giving loan, because some banks, they also involve in investment, investment bank and etc. Dia lagi pula bila macam sekarang, the new regulation said that they must have Islamic product or whatever, so it will lessen the degree of haram kat situ. But I think let's change from conventional banking to you are leasing, bukan leasing, you are selling your building to di pusat perjudian. Paling clear lah. To Magnum gambling company. Okay. You know that they are going to use for that. When they're dealing with you, not as an individual, but as a company. Yeah. Okay, actually there's a dispute among ulama juga. Sebab dia kata, you're not responsible for what they're doing. Well, at individual level. Because whatever they want to do business is their sin. But again, most of the ulama saying, no. You are. You know them, you know it's a company, because they're dealing with you as a company, and you know their businesses, yeah, and you are helping them actually to ease them, kan? Unless if you're dealing with individuals, contohnya macam individual toke judi, kan? Toke judi wanted to buy your building. He is an individual. You don't have anything to do with his business or with whatever. And when he's dealing with you, not as toke judi, not as a company, but as an individual, and you just don't know whether his income is solely coming from gambling or from other sources. But if the one that dealing with you is that gambling company, memang Magnum Toto ke ataupun apa-apa genting apa gitu kan, memang purposely they want to use your building untuk just for the gambling operation. Okay, that fall into number 2. Ya, lebih kurang sama. Sebab tu not only renting, leasing. That is why in Islamic banking they have this Sharia compliance issue, and they have the Sharia department that will look into details. There are few investment, not only investment, there are few dealings, although they will get a lot of profit from it, but due to this kind of activities, we call it vice activities, they will consider it as non-Sharia compliant and they will not get involved with that. Bagusnya pula kan, one good thing about this kind of Sharia compliance, even now they are trying to include, they have already included tobacco. Tapi kadang ada separuh tu taking very extreme. I still remember in one of the banks who give loans to SME, even those are doing bridal, they are not giving them financial assistance. Tahu bridal yang buat ni, sebab dia kata apa? This will lead to tabarruj, this will lead to ikhtilat or whatever. They are doing haram things. Ini wedding. Right. Ni syarikat pengantin. Dekat belakang boleh lihat tak? Ada few banks, they're using Sadu Zara'i, Islamic bank, they are not giving loan, or bukan loan, they call it financial assistance. Kalau loan nanti there's no different from the conventional bank. Okay, they refuse to give financial assistance to certain companies who doing this bridal business. Bridal, they call it bridal Bridal, saya pun tak reti sangat lah. They said why? Because it will lead to tabarruj. You know tabarruj? Makeup, heavy makeup itu kan. It will lead to ikhtilat. It will lead to haram. Anything that leads to haram is haram. Kan? Jadi dia tak kasih dekat situ. Sharia compliance. Diorang itu non-Sharia compliance for them. Because for them, if they help them, they are helping sinful activities. One good thing about that, if they are having that position, then we as depositors feel it's safe for us to put our money there. If they have that strict ruling and that strict measurement, kan? Jadi kita selamatlah, boleh percaya ini memang Islamik. Jangan dengarlah Tok Ki cakap tak Islamik dan sebagainya tu. You know those issue merepek. Okay, number 3 fall into that category. That things which is sometimes or rarely leads towards evil. Macam case kita jual, just like the case of, you're selling your land or property to an individual that is known of his sinful activities, but you are not helping him and you have nothing to do with whatever he's doing. It's between you and him as an individual. Okay. Or sometimes they use the example of that not DPF, avoiding talking about financial institution, they avoid to give credit cards to those with poor financial what they call it? Credit scoring. That fall under the third category. Because although, yeah, it's not normally leading towards bankruptcy or whatever, but as a matter of precautions. As a matter of precautions. The same thing goes with this Anti-Money Laundering Act. You need to go in details to the credit scoring, to the history, you know, those kind of things, in order to avoid any activities that will lead towards money laundering or financial financing, terrorism financing, and etc. And number 4, things that rarely lead towards evil, but there is opportunity to lead to evils. Just like the example of television, internet, knife, pisau kan, knife kan, etc. Ataupun going to school. I still remember a friend of mine refused to send his daughter to school because he said that, dia agak kelakar. This back to the 80s lah, ini zaman 80-an. He said that it will lead to ikhtilat, to the free mixing. Okay, it does make sense. It doesn't make sense, but somehow, okay, we could understand it. And number 2, he said, the worst part, she's going to learn things that she's not supposed to learn. I said, what? What? Betul. So I asked him, so what women supposed to learn? She said, they only need to learn about fardu ain and tahara. That's all. In the 80s. Sekarang tak ada lah. Sekarang, if they don't send their children to school, they will learn it more on the internet. Kan? But then, ini nak cerita zaman dulu lah. Ini kena cerita, sebab orang lama semua duduk depan, kita teringat cerita lama-lama. Okay. Cinema. Cinema number 2, number 3. But it depends what movie you're watching. Because in cinema, it's your choice. You know, it's your choice. Whereas telly, you know, sometimes, yes, it's your choice, but again, sometimes you don't really have choice there. Yeah. The same goes to internet. But cinema, you huh? Karaoke depends with whom you go and what song you sing. Yes, I can see a hand there.
What about if we sell our building to grocery franchise, such as 7-Eleven? Because as we all know, 7-Eleven also provide products. But
okay, it depends. It depends in which area. Because if I'm mistaken, certain Muslim majority population, they have the right to ask 7-Eleven not to sell alcohol. Am I right? Kan? Kampung Baru and Bangi, if I'm not mistaken. Bangi, Kajang, Shah Alam. They're not allowed to. Okay, it depends where. Whereabout. And I think you can ask that it fall under the third category actually. Under the third category. But itu dia tak termasuk dalam saddu zara'i. It never falls under saddu zara'i. It falls under syubhat. It falls under syubhat. It falls under, because it's beyond your control. You cannot control them. But yalah, kalau min babi tawadhu, sometimes people are resorting to this, especially those Sufis, or sometimes those who really want to make sure that everything that goes inside their pocket is totally purified. Normally they want to get involved with this kind of syubhat. Okay, brother. Merokok number 1. Shisha. Oh, selling rokok. Number 2 lah. Normally ulama will talk about number 2. Which is haram lah. Which is haram. Haram. Because number 3 and number 4 is still in the category of mubah. Harus. Masih harus lagi. Tetapi kalau you choose to go to haram, definitely turn to haram. Kan? Tapi kalau number 1 and number 2, haram. Okay, what else? Yes. Awak satu zarai. Okey, boleh. Wah, ini tulis Arab lah. Ingat Sudin je boleh baca. Zara'i is from the word dari'ah. Dari'ah means or way leading towards something. Kan? Saddu zara'i, blocking the way, blocking the means. Oh, itu istishab. Al, kita kasih al lah, nampak Arabic sikit kan? Al-istishab. Dia daripada perkataan ni, sahabat kan? Accompanying. Okay, satu zarat. Any question about satu zarat before we go to istishab? Yes. Apa nama? Pokemon Go. I think when I was on my way, no, I don't play. Not even my children. I don't know, for whatever reason, they just don't like this kind of mainstream things. You know, macam my son, I asked him, who is your most favorite superhero? I was expecting Batman, Superman, you know, those Avengers or those Marvel. He told me, Uncle Grandpa. Do you know Uncle Grandpa? Okay, it's not your stuff. Ini budak-budak, tapi nobody likes Uncle Grandpa. Nobody consider him as superhero. But most of my kids, they don't really like the mainstream thing, just like me. So, orang azan? Oh, kita berhenti je. Can we stop until the azan finish? Yes. Can I take? Okay, before you go, Pokemon Go. There's a dispute, ada khilaf between mufti. No, actually it depends how you play, what should you play, and I don't think why should you waste your time playing it. But if you want to play it, I cannot see why you cannot. But if it leads to, you know, wasting time, it leads you to distraction, masuk dalam parit lah sampai langgar, well, then it might be considered haram. But you know, sometimes I really hate to use this haram terms when it's dealing with your this kind of thing, because you will scare people away. Yeah, you said it's discourage, or you will say that it's don't waste your time, you know, those kind of things, rather than say, oh, it's haram, oh, it's wajib, oh, it's masuk neraka. Okay, you scare people away. Yes, sister. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or why is it that, the process of, making the alcohol is category 1, but, selling it, I just don't understand the fine differences. Like, to me, something seems like it would definitely lead to haram, but you categorize it as 2. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I think because definitely and most likely, what is the difference between definitely and most likely? I think when the usuliyin, okay, both are haram, no doubt about it. But people are looking at it at the scholars, when they look at it, the classical scholars, when they look at it, they're trying to look at the impact to the direct impact, the immediate impact of it, the immediate ramification of it to life, to life. For example, the first category when say that selling weapons to the enemies is definitely haram because it will cost life. And it's definite. You're selling to the enemy in the time of war, they're going to use it. And when it comes to the, digging hole with the intention for people to fall inside it, it's something definite. But selling wine selling grapes to the winemaker, pardon? There is chance it's not used for evil purpose. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah.
What about the example about the building, of selling your building to Magna? Isn't that directly haram? Like, I don't see why it's number 2.
Yeah, it's haram. No, even number 2 is haram.
I mean, why is it number 1? Because if you're selling it for usage by Magna, why is it still number 1?
Okay, we make it number 1. I think Nuruddin can help me with that.
Well, I think the key point Doctor is making is there's a continuum from rare occurrence to certain. And depending on the context, in a particular situation, you can say, this is certainly going to lead to this in this context. The same thing with a different group of people would not certainly lead to that. So I think firstly the recognition that the greater the level of certainty, the greater the probability of the risk, the greater the chance of it happening, the more readily the scholars are to put the brakes on. But then on another dimension is the severity of the wrong. When something threatens life, it's a major issue. And so a means that would threaten life directly would not be considered as seriously as something that may threaten life. So while both would be considered haram because, say, cigarette smoking is linked to death and a lot of other harm, it's not as clearly, certainly harmful as murder, for example. So while you say haram to both, there's those haram that belong to the kaba'ir, that belong to the major wrongs, then there are those that belong to the more minor wrongs. But then, as you were saying, saddu zarai or saddu zariya is blocking of means. Some means are so close to the haram, some are still far away. Somebody looking at a man or looking at a girl, yes, that's wrong, but it's not as bad as touching, which is not as bad as touching in a lonely place, which is not as bad as touching a particular part of the body, which is not as bad as zina. So on one side you have Sadhu Zaraya's concern with what is the probability of it happening, what is the likelihood of it happening, but each of that would apply differently to how bad is it and how definite are you that it's leading to bad, weighing that with what Sheikh mentioned. Yes, selling knives in a particular neighborhood and a particular type of knife, you could comfortably say we will ban that. But then there's another type of knife, but that's needed for cutting vegetables. You can't ban that too. It's all knives, but what kind of knife? What kind of neighborhood? So it's difficult, I think, and this is why we were saying before, to get somebody giving you fatwas who comes from a place away from the actual context where it's going to be applied. But I think the key thing, because this is just an introductory course to this, is the recognition that it's not as simple as it could lead to, therefore it's haram. No, it's how likely is it to lead to? From haram to makruh to mubah to, just leave it as mubah. And then the level of the haram, and is it a major haram, is it a minor haram, and is it haram of the ends or is it haram of the means? So it's more complicated than that, but I think the key thing is just to understand it is legitimate, and as he said, it's a very common sense way. But just because they give them some of these heavy vocabulary and conditions, we sometimes look at it as just a very strange area. But I think it's to recognize the importance of the qualification required before somebody starts declaring things as haram. But there is a continuum that requires local contextual knowledge, and it's definitely not simple. Allahu A'lam.
Okay, thank you, Sheikh. So should we stop and make a prayer, or we continue? I'm not sure. Berhenti dulu. We stop for prayer, and then we come back at 15 minutes. Wow. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Inshallah tonight, 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. in IDT Center. In IDT Center, we can just Google or Waze. We have a session by Sister Salatu on role of women in da'wah. So all are welcome to join. We will start the session at 8:30 p.m. And the second announcement that our last session today is just the third session with Dr. Mazli Malik. Inshallah, the fourth session will continue tomorrow. Today, we will end our session at 5:30, inshallah. Okay. Assalamualaikum.
Come. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, I just recap what we have discussed about Saddu Zara'i. Generally, Saddu Zara'i means blocking the means. And the general idea is any means that leads to haram is haram. Yeah? Provided the means, the initial hukum of the means itself is mubah or harus. But if the means itself is haram, there's no question about it. It's already haram by itself. Or maybe the end is not haram. Okay, that's a question. If the end is not haram, or maybe it's wajib, but the means towards the ends is haram, will that ends justify the means? No. Sini ramai mufti laju cakap no. Example, preserving life. Is it wajib? If you need to consume something haram in order to preserve your life, will that haram means turn to halal? Darurat. Kan? Maksudnya boleh lah. There's a provision. Darurat. Or sometimes it's not only about darurat, it's about maslahah. Maslahah. Benefit of the community. Okay. Yeah? No. Robin Hood is different. Robin Hood is different. I think Syekh Nuruddin will talk more about it when he discusses about Maqasid Sharia. How to look at that complicated. Because it's not only Saddu Zara'i, there is also what is called as Fathu Zara'i. Opening the means. Saddu Zara'i, blocking the means. And Fathu Zara'i is opening the means. So I still remember, among the example of blocking the means, in the 80s, when the idea of having Islamic banks was still in its infancy, we need a lot of bankers and trained people in finance. You will never get the experience in dealing with all those complicated things unless you are in that industry. So a lot of people had been writing to Sheikh Yusuf Al-Qaradawi asking him, should I resign? Because, I still remember a lot of my friends, when they've got hidayah, when they receive hidayah, they started to practice Islam, they resigned totally from the industry. Then, if it's nowadays, it's easier for them, they can just go to Islamic banking or whatever, but then there was no option. So a lot of them, they were told by Sheikh Yusuf Al-Qaradawi, no, you should stay there. But you must plan for an alternative for it. Yeah. And you stay there not to enjoy it, but for a greater plan, for a greater purpose. So that is Fathu Zara'i. Okay, the same thing when people discuss about the hukum of participation in certain, okay, we take it into a more domestic issue. For example, for our convert brothers and sisters, you participating in some of the, for example, family events, your non-Muslim family events or occasions where you might find them drinking lah. Kan? What else? They don't drink Pepsi, they drink, especially China, minum. It happened to us too. I mean, a lot, especially when we makan besar. Because we were invited as part of the family member, and they drink. I cannot stop them from drinking. Because I'm there, you cannot drink. Or I can choose not to go. But there is a big maslahah for me to do dawah. Which if I try to distance myself from them, it ended up they don't trust me. And they will never value the meaning of, filial relationship with me. Again, for them, okay, I will only speak to them when I want to convert them to Islam. Other than that, I wouldn't mix with them, I wouldn't speak to them, I wouldn't really bother about them. So, but in this kind of occasion, sometimes you need Fathu Zara'i as well. So, actually, Lim came up with this question just now after we finished our first session. Said that, what about our convert brothers and sisters who are still having their non-Muslim families, and normally they have certain events, they have certain gathering, family gathering, whatever, they drink. Okay, maybe for Malaysian non-Muslims, they have kind of understanding, they won't serve pork. Normally they will try to choose halal restaurant, or at least restaurant that won't serve pork. But when it comes to drinking, I mean, it's their call, it's their party. They need to drink. So, can we involve? What about our presence there? So I think it's part of Fathu Zara'i. And sometimes, if you ask any other ustaz, they will say, no, you don't go. But here, inshallah, you have Nuruddin Lemu who will help us saying, yes, you can go. For a greater purpose, for a greater da'wah. The same thing when we were in non-Muslim countries, there are certain events. For example, not certain events, most of their events they drink. If we try to avoid, we ended up not attending anything. For example, we have teachers. My wife used to teach there too. It's very interesting. She was asked to teach in UK school, not because her English is at par with their English, but because she has Arabic and they don't have Arabic, and they need to deal with Arab children, they need a teacher who could deal with them. So because of my wife's Arabic language, she was asked to teach English in UK school. So at least we were not in that difficult situation, but some of our friends, some of Muslim friends, they've been appointed as head teachers, as, you know, officers in the county councils or whatever, their office. In any official meeting, in any official occasion, they will serve wine and, you know, those kind of things. So sometimes they discuss about this. They say, should we attend? I say, you should. You should. You know, because, I mean, you are the head teacher. You are the officer in that county. You are, you know, you have certain office that you hold. So you need to participate, not because you want to get drunk, but because of a greater maslahah that you want to achieve from that. So this is Fathu Zara'i. Do I need to write it in Arabic? Okay, good. Fathu Zara'i, Fathu Zari'ah. Kalau tadi Sadhu Zari'ah, we block the means. Why? Because the means, although it's the initial hukum is harus, mubah, selling grape is halal, you know, selling knife is halal, but due to certain context, due to certain ends, it will lead to haram. Okay. Are we clear? Okay. So now we go to istishab. Okay, istishab, sometimes those categories are very misleading. I'll give you a very simple example. I forgot your name. My student from UAE, what's your name? Warda, okay, Warda. Okay, Warda has made her wudu at the mahalla. You know, mahalla is the name of hostel. In UAE, we call it mahalla. You know, Islamic University, we use Arabic terms for it. Okay. She has made her wudu in the mahalla with the intention to go to the mosque to pray jama'ah, to get 27 rewards instead of 1 reward. So on her way to the mosque, he bumped into, what's your name, sister? Yeah? Okay, Amnani. She bumped into Amnani. And Amnani's, you know, girls, when they meet each other, they have a lot of things to share. Unlike boys, only after any menu or derby, they will have a lot of things to talk, but rather than derby, they don't have much to share, unlike girls. Okay, so Amnani and Warda, so hey, Warda, do you know that lecturer, that short lecturer, Dr. Mazli? I have a new story about him. Oh yes, what's the story? Yeah, So half an hour talking about Dr. Mazli. I said, oh, Amnani, I'm going to the mosque to pray. Okay, she continued her way to the mosque. When she reached the mosque, okay, that's the situation. She forgot. Has she taken her wudu? Or has she made the wudu or not? So in this kind of situation, what is her condition? She totally forgot about her wudu because of that fascinating story about Dr. Mazli that she heard from Amnani. So she's, okay, what is the condition? Because she totally forgot, hey, have I made a wudu or not? Presumption, okay, presume that she has not taken wudu. Why? Why? This is good. Okay. Put aside the habit, because I'm going to deal with the habit. Okay, put aside the habit. Now, what is the condition now? What should we do? Our sister said that she should take a wudu. We presume that she has no wudu. Why? No need to take the wudu. The original condition. Okay, going back to the original condition that she, yakin, that she has yakin, that what is yakin? That she certain about. Okay, her yakin is she has no wudu. Can, and the khilaf or the dispute or the problem only come whether she has made wudu or not. Okay, when you have two things between yakin, between things that you certain of and you uncertain of, you must go back to the certain. This is what we call istishab. Okay, the issue is simple. Yeah, I mean it's very simple. You have certain and you have uncertain. Go back to things that you certain of. She has no wudu. Though she already made wudu, but she's not certain with it. Go back to what you're certain of. Okay. But there are certain occasions that you can get your certainty through your habit. This is what we normally call in fiqh as ghalabati zon. Ghalabati zon is not you certain of, no. But you have that degree of certainty. Dia tak adalah 100%. It's zon. It's 75%. You have a big assumption that you already make wudu. Why? Because normally before you leave your house, normally before you leave your hostel, you will make wudu. Okay. This is what we call as ghalabatu zon. You know the degree of certainty? You have shak, you have waham, you have adhan, and you have al-yaqeen. A simple category of it, this one is 25, 50, 75, 100%. When it comes to Aqidah, you cannot have zon, it must yaqeen. But when it comes to, hukum, or your daily conduct, zon has its own weight. So, ghalabati zon, the same thing. I want to pray. There's a space, I want to pray, but I don't have my praying mat. So can I pray there? It's based on my zon. If my zon saying that, I don't think it's clean. Why? Because, people are stepping on it and I cannot sure. Okay, so my zone is saying that this is not clean. But if my zone is saying that it's clean, there's no najis, so it's okay. It's based on habit, it's different. Okay, now there's a different situation. Warda, she made her wudu, came out, going to the mosque, bumped into Amnani. Amnani started with a new gossip about Brother Lim. They spent 45 minutes, additional 15 minutes from the story of Dr. Mazli. And then Warda started to realize, oh, I'm on my way to the mosque. I'm going to make my prayer. Then she continued her journey. And then when she reached the mosque, she knows, she's certain of her wudu. She knows that she has made wudu. But has she nullified her wudu? There's a shak inside her mind. Hey, have I nullified my wudu or not? Maybe while I'm talking, it's not only me talking. Who knows? Or maybe I went somewhere, but I couldn't recall. So what is the situation now? What is the condition? Should she make wudu? Yeah? She has the wudu. Okay. She is certain of that, but she's not certain whether she has nullified her wudu. Going back to the presumption of continuity. This is what we call istishab. Okay. Another example of istisab. Haji, what's your name, Haji? Haji Abdullah. Haji Abdullah, I think you owe me 5, not billion, billion is too much. Somebody else is doing that, not me, not you. Anyway, I think you owe me 5K, 5,000 ringgit. You must pay me. You must pay me. So Haji will ask me, hey, how come I owe you? I said, you owe me. Haji will demand an evidence for that. Why should he demand evidence for that? Why should he ask me for evidence? He said, if he really owe me, then I should come up with evidence. Because in Quran, say that if you are taking loan from somebody, faktubu, you must write. You must bring 2 witnesses. Why? Because the original status of everybody, we don't owe anybody. Presumption of innocent. We're innocent. I don't owe you unless you have proved that I did owe you. So I cannot make a claim before the court saying that Haji refused to pay me the debt. The judge will ask me, where is your evidence? Al-bayyinatu ala manidda'a. For those who accuse, they must come up with evidence. Why? Istishabul hal. Istishabul hal maksudnya apa? Presumption of innocence. Dia tak ada hutang apa-apa. I don't owe you, you don't owe me, because that's the original situation of everybody. Yes?
So, does that mean istishab is same as al-yakin la yazulu?
Yep. Al-yakin la yazulu bishak is a maxim which is derived from istishab. It's not derived by its own, but it derived from the idea of istishab. Okay. Another example. I accuse this brother, because you asked me just now, I accuse him of, waliyazubillah, ini contoh ya, ini just an example, for example, stealing money. Stealing money from a company called 2MDS. I don't know what it means, but it sounds good. 2MDS, okay. And this guy said, how come? You must come up with evidence. You must give me proof. Say, we have a proof. Wow, we have evidence. Wow, dia menggeletar, dah takut. What is your evidence? Haji Mat told me that you stole that money. Wow, dia lega sikit. That is not an evidence. Not even a witness. Kan? Even if he said, accuse me of that, he should come up with evidence. Why? Al-aslu bara'atu dhimmah. Presumption of innocence. We cannot just simply accuse others of doing things because al-aslu bara'atu dhimmah. Presumption of innocence. Maksudnya orang ni, hukum asalnya dia tidak bersalah until he is proven guilty. How is proven guilty? With evidence or witnesses. And even witnesses, evidence is one thing. Witnesses and evidence must be beyond reasonable doubt. That is why, this is a famous story, but some say it's not a true story. But anyway, we're not looking at how the muhaddithin look at it. We just depend on, a popular story about Sayyidina Ali. Sayyidina Ali, when, he lost his amma, and then he found it in the hand of a Jew. So he brought that Jew before Suraj al-Qadhi, the very famous judge amongst Tabi'in. Even the Sahaba went to him for his judgment, and he judged without fear and favor. So they went to this Qadhi, and he was the Amirul Mu'minin, the Khalifa of that time. Khalifa brought somebody before the hakim, before the judge, definitely lah judge akan for the favor of Khalifah. Kalau tidak nanti you won't be appointed as AG anymore. Sorry, you won't be appointed as judge. Kan? Terkeluar kan? Tak, saya nampak ada G kat situ, itu sebut kan. He won't be appointed as a judge. So, but this Suraj Al-Qadi is very different. Because he knows that there are three types of judges. Three types of judges. And two are going to hellfire, and only one will survive. So he doesn't want to be those two, he wants to be the one who's going to heaven. So, he asked Sayyidina Ali, do you have any proof? Do you have any serial number at your armor? Yeah, just like just like the, you know, all the expensive watch, they have their serial number or whatever. Do you have serial number? No, it's just my word lah. Do you have any proof or evidence? No, I don't have, except for my two sons. And Suraj Al-Qadi did not accept the two sons to be the witnesses. You can conspire with them. And your witnesses is not beyond reasonable doubt. I can doubt. You must bring witnesses which I cannot doubt. Okay. Do you have any? Or do you have any evidence? I don't have. Okay. Al-aslu bara'at dhimma. Istishabul hal. The original hukum, presumption of innocence. Kan? Jadi in this case, this Yahudi, Jew tau. Jew, la'natullah kan. You know, normally Muslims nowadays, they heard about Yahudi, la'natullah alayhim. Hey, come on. Muhammad Asad was a Jew. Kan? Muhammad Asad, a lot of Muslim thinkers, they were Jew and converted to Islam. Tapi orang kita, they got confused between Jewish and Zionist. Wah, ini is a Jew, is a non-Muslim, and before, and this is Khalifa, Imamul Amirul Mu'minin. But that judge is not in favor of the Khalifa. And the name of justice is not favor lah. Is giving the justice to that Jew because there's no evidence. And based on the idea of istishab, based on the idea of bara'atu dhimma. Kan? Tapi nowadays in Malaysia, we cannot apply this. Because when it come anybody, Malay ke Bumi Putra ke tidak kan? Bumi Putra, okay. Non-Bumi Putra, something wrong about you. Am I right? Sometime lah. Not all the time. Not all the time, sometimes. Okay. So, kalau tak tolong orang kita, siapa nak tolong lagi? Kan normally our argument kan, that's very asabiyah. That Rasulullah SAW against it. Yeah. Asabiyah, nampak? You're helping your kaum, you're helping your tribes, you're helping your race in doing evil, which is prohibited. And Rasulullah SAW condemned that very much. So these guys, Suraj Al-Qadi does not have asabiyah. For him, justice is blind. You don't have evidence, so the judgment is with that Jewish guy. Presumption of innocence. Okay. So this is istishab. Okay. What other example? Okay, another example is, the other day I went, talking about the example about foods. About foods, You know, when it comes to foods, when it comes to clothing, the original hukum of everything is halal. Unless there is provision in Quran or Sunnah saying it is haram. For example, wearing this kind of baju kurung, and this very colorful tudung or whatever, what is the hukum of this? Mubah. Why mubah? Nothing wrong with color. Yeah. Because there's no provision in Quran and Hadith saying it's haram. There's no prohibition in Quran and Sunnah saying it's haram. If there is a prohibition, then it's become haram. Yeah. Because there's no prohibition in Quran or Sunnah, then it's halal. The same thing, you go to, for example, Sudan, they're wearing different kind of dress. You go to China, they're wearing different kind of dress. As long as they are covering aura, then it's halal. The other day, we were talking about But if it doesn't cover aura, then it's haram. Or if you are wearing something which is different from the rest of community and it attracts attention, which is known, Rasulullah call it libasu shuhra. Nah, Rasulullah and libasu shuhra. Rasulullah prohibited us from wearing something that will attract attention. Kan? Contohnya apa? I'm giving an example, but nowadays in a globalized world is okay. You can wear anything you want. It's not like, in the past. Because in the past, you cannot wear sarung in Amman, Jordan, for example. You're walking on the street of Amman during our days, in the 90s, mid-90s, early 90s. If you wear sarung, walking on the street of Amman, people will be thinking that you're crazy because people only wear sarung, when they go to sleep, when they go to bed. Yeah. Just like pajamas. Or maybe you're wearing jubbah, you're walking on the street of New Orleans in the 80s and the 90s. Nowadays, it's okay. You can wear whatever you want. Or if you don't want to wear anything too, it's okay there. But if you're wearing jubbah or dishdash on the street of New Orleans or New York or Manhattan, then people will look at you, oh, what are you? I still remember when even my Russian friends, it was early 90s. I always wear jubbah then. So, for them it's weird. They said, hey, you are Malaysians. Why should you wear jubbah? And then when he became Salafi, he wearing more jubbah than me. So wearing something which is awkward from the community, which is considered as libashu shuhra, is considered as, makruh. I'm not saying it's haram, though Rasulullah prohibited, but you cannot easily say things haram. Just like that Pokemon Go thing, it's wrong to say, oh, it's haram, because the original hukum for it's mubah. If you just play it without, without going to the drain or to river, or without crushing the car, whatever, I don't think it's wrong. But don't play it inside the mosque. Because I still remember the other day I was in Singapore and looking at a lot of people, gathering in front of the mosque. I thought people are going to the mosque. No, they were searching for some of these rare Pokemon that appear in front of the mosque. That's what I thought, oh, maybe they're attending something because they're non-Muslims. It's very obvious. A lot of the inside of the mosque, there must be somebody, some great preacher coming to the mosque. But they're not going inside the mosque because they were looking for that rare Pokemon. And I'm sure it's not inside the mosque, somewhere around it. But we cannot say it's haram. At least we could say it's makruh or discouraged or, those kind of things. So this is ishab and...
What about...
Okay.
Previously, men are prohibited from wearing all red.
Yeah. I still remember that hadith is a sahih hadith, and I still remember when we were studying Zadul Ma'ad by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah about Kitabul Libas, about the chapter of clothes, and we gone through that hadith, and I asked my sheikh. I was wearing that, red dress, red kurta. Kurta was red, so it's very obvious. From 10 miles, people can see me from afar. Because it's kurta, it's red in color. I asked myself, Sheikh, I'm wearing red, and this hadith saying that Rasulullah prohibited his companions from wearing red. Is it haram? He said, no. No, it's discouraged. Rasulullah doesn't like it, but it doesn't mean that it's haram. Yeah? But in certain community, he said, in certain community, when red become the official color, China, red, yellow, yellow, this yellow color actually is originated from China. It's Chinese stuff. The young monarch color, normally we associate yellow with monarch color. Actually, we took it from China, from Chinese monarch. Yes. You think it's Malay stuff? No. Malay is colorless. No. We believe in, no, we don't really believe in certain color. Malays, we love colors. That's why our life is very colorful. Am I right? So, but for Chinese people, you know, yellow color is color of the royal. It's a royal color monarch. And they were the one who spoiled us with that. During the Malacca Sultanate, they were the one who came here and introduced the yellow color. Yeah. And one good thing about Chinese, they were the one who taught us how to build mosques. Mosque, masjid, masjid. A lot of mosques, the old mosques, we don't have them anymore. But in Indonesia, we still have them. It was the Chinese who built mosques for us in the Malay archipelago. The yellow color, the same thing. And there is a hadith, Rasulullah hates yellow colors. Yeah. But that was his uruf. That was his personal preference. But still, ulama and the scholars discuss about it. But if you live in a community which wearing red is something is being loathed, something that people hate, don't wear it. Al-ada muhakkama. Custom will determine the hukum. Yeah? Or maybe wearing certain other color. For example, in certain places in Gulf country, then, not now, then, you're wearing striking, I mean, for women are prohibited from wearing striking colors and all these colorful, flowery things. Or men. In some society, when a man wearing colorful or, you know, not only colorful, rosy and, you know, full of flowery, they will consider it as, you know, something is not right with this guy. So avoid from doing that. Huh? Pink, for example. Yeah, pink. Ataupun ni lah baju kurung Johor kan. Pada kita biasa je, tapi ada orang, oh dia ni dia macam, tapi bangsa Johor kita tak pakai lah. Anyway, so any other example for ISIS Hub? Let me take some practical example in doing da'wah. Yes.
The burden of providing, evidence and so witness would be right?
Yep. Yeah, because that's hadith. Rasulullah said, I'm a normal human being. I don't know the ghaib. No, when it not ghaib in terms of aqidah, but I don't know the ghaib. You can make up stories. You can make up words, whatever. I cannot come up with my own judgment. Hence, al-bayyinatu ala man idda'a wal yaminu ala man ankara. For those who accuse, you must bring evidence. You must bring proof. The burden of proof is on your responsibility. And for those who are going to deny, you need to deny with al-yamin or with oath. Okay. So that's how it is on it. Yes. Yes, we have gone through all four, with all the examples. Okay, continuity of the general rules. Macam al-aslu fil asya' mubah tadi. The original hukum for foods, for drinks, talking about foods and drinks, is halal. Unless there is hukum saying it's halal, it's haram. Or there are certain hukum which are haram. It's forever haram. Unless there are certain conditions that we change it to. Talking about foods and drinks, foods are not foods. I think for those who have watched that forum in Perlis about Empat Mazhab, I was asked to present about Maliki Mazhab. I don't want to talk much in front of Maliki Mazhab follower here. You know, one good thing about Maliki Mazhab is, I think it's the most suitable mazhab for the Chinese actually. And orang asli. Yeah, I'm not joking. I'm telling you the truth. And my children, you know, our children, they're thinking of converting to Maliki Mazhab for two purposes, for two things. Number one, for the foods. They really want to try exotic foods. And number two, they want to keep dogs. keep dogs as pets. So, and it's permissible in Maliki mazhab. So when it comes to foods, I think for these two things, I think for orang asli, that's the most suitable mazhab for them. So don't force orang asli to practice Shafi'i mazhab. It will burden them a lot. You know what happened to our pendakwah, Jabatan Agama, when they go to orang asli villages, they convert them to Islam. And then after a few months, they come back. They convert them to Islam. After a few months, they come back. They found that those orang asli, they stop eating pork, but they still keep their dog with them. So the pendakwah, the du'at will tell them, hey, you're not allowed to keep dogs with you. You know, what did they reply? They said that we are Muslim, but our dogs are not. How do they know? And they don't eat pork, but when they serve the pendakwah, they serve with some, you know, beautiful aroma, meat that look very interesting. The smell is, you know, is very, apa ni? Appetizing lah, kan? Appetizing. So they said, hey, is this halal? They said, it's halal. It's not pork. Kata, have you slaughtered? Yes, I've slaughtered it. What is that? Snakes. Kan? Syafi'i mazhab, sorry lah, korang tak makan. But for Maliki mazhab, they can eat that. I still remember, yes. I still remember a friend of mine, when we were in Jordan, that Gambia friend, that Ghana friend of mine, and another friend who's from Gambia. They brought back snakes and they said, wow, we're going to cook it. Do you want to join us? I was about to vomit. And I asked them, what are you guys eating? So it's good, it tastes great, and there's a lot of minerals inside it. It has a lot of vitamins. I said, oh, come on. But they said, so I asked them, so what more do you eat? What else do you eat? They said, this is nothing in compared to crocodiles. But you know, sometimes we said, oh, in Shafi'i mazhab, we cannot eat this, we cannot eat that, we cannot eat. But is that really the case? If we go to Kitabul there are certain things in Kitabul that you'll be surprised, looking at things that we are allowed to eat. Sebab kadang-kadang you need to differentiate between what Imam Shafi'i said and the Shafi'iyah ulama. Because sometimes when we're talking about foods, the scholars, they're taking into consideration the context. And I think it's normal. Even the Sahaba, the companions, when Hurrimat alaykumul khaba'ith, when Al-Quran, in Surah Ma'idah said that there are certain filthy things prohibited upon you, what Ibn Abbas said, filthies according to the Arabs, according to the community. And according to Arabs, there are certain things that sometimes we eat, they don't. Anchovies, not everybody eats anchovies. Certain people, they think that you are cruel or eating anchovies. Ikan bilis. Dia kata kecil-kecil kau dah makan, zalim betul kau ni kan. Okay. Presumption of general absence. Is there any example for this? Have you gone through an example for this? Presumption of general absence. Yes? Apa dia? Orang yang hilang. Okay, dia gini. Dia kembali kepada hukum yang yakin tadi. Now actually it goes back to the absence of hukum, bukan absence of individual. But the example of you don't have wudu, kan? Absence. Okay, general hukum, presumption of general presence is already there. The continuity of the presence. And continuity of attributes is tishabul hal. Tadi yang kita bawa. Tapi, you know, I think, 2 minutes, okay. I think this is all confusing. The most important thing, you just remember the basic idea of it and examples of it. And sometimes people would ask, hey, where all this thing comes from? Actually, it comes from the hadith. And also in Quran sometimes, and how the scholars understand the hadith and the Quran. Okay. Any question? Any practical examples you could relate to dawah? Because I think most of you guys are doing dawah. Yes, brother. Yes, please. Never mind. Tabo, you can shout.
Maybe this question is related to سد الذرائع. Okay, wearing a dress is halal.
When what?
Wearing a dress is halal, صح? Dress.
Oh, dress, yes, dress,
halal.
yeah.
Okay, for a lady, a woman, wearing a sexy, some like sexy dress with the intention to attract people like me or others. Okay, so a person intending to open a restaurant with the intention to serve halal food. So to make the restaurant active, the customers, so he hired all the good-looking ladies. This is what's happening nowadays sometimes with some people. Good-looking ladies, and then he prepared for them a very attractive uniform, that restaurant. So with the intention to attract people. So what does Sharia say?
Okay. The restaurant selling halal food?
Yes, but the intention. Al-wasila, tadi saya dengar al-wasila,
okay.
al-ghaya kada.
You know one thing, sometimes when it comes to hukum, don't be like the literalists. Normally for them, even tiny things would cause everything haram. One good thing about the usuliyin or the scholars of usul al-fiqh and scholars of fiqh, when they look at things, they try to treat them, let me say, in details. They're very cautious not to generalize things, not to generalize any hukum, or not to associate, not to doing unjust to certain things that is not related to things that is not necessarily has any relation to it. Okay, go straight to the point. Okay, here the business is okay. I mean, the restaurant is okay. Selling halal foods, alhamdulillah, is continue halal. As long as halal is halal. Now hiring women wearing sexy dress. Okay, the question is, what do you mean by sexy? Not covering aura? Okay, sexy lah kalau is there any sexy dress while covering aura? That doesn't sound sexy. Huh? A very fit, yeah. It's a fit dress, then it's not covering aura. Balut, wrapping. No, the word aura itself, it's istilahun syar'i. It's a very technical word. Aura. It's not about, you put on dress, it covers aura. No, aura has its own connotation. Where what is the word used? It's not chastity, but the modesty, yes. Yeah, modesty must be there. It's part of aura. Sometimes people, although, macam dia pakai latex, kan? Pakai latex dress, It's wrapping part of the body, but that's not covering aura. Yeah. It depends which swimming suit. Kalau burkini, actually it still preserves some kind of modesty. Swimming tight. Oh yeah, swimming tight. Yeah, it's wrapping some part of the body, but it's not covering aura. Because the word aura itself, it's a technical meaning. Kan? Yeah. It's not part of body. Yes. Wearing the chongsam. Wow. Does it covering aura? Okay. If the chongsam is loose, and the chongsam really cover that part of aura, and she's wearing hijab, so that is a halal chongsam, Sharia compliant. But if she is wearing the conventional chongsam, again, then it's not Sharia compliance. Okay, coming back to your question about that restaurant, so it has to do with the dress. It has nothing to do with the food, nothing to do with the business, nothing to do with the restaurant. Okay, the intention, he will be judged by his intention. But on top of that, actually I'm not really happy, not with the dress, not with the sexy, but the exploitation of women. It's very unfortunate. Nowadays, it's not only restaurant. You see, selling Magnum ice cream, but with a picture of women licking it with certain gesture, I just couldn't relate. Magnum, kids like Magnums. You know, why you put women? That's number one. And sometimes you're selling cars, and you put women wearing sexy dress, leaning on it. What it has to do? Exploitation of women. But sometimes women are happy to be exploited. Not all women. I mean, not all women. Not all women. Sorry, I'm overgeneralizing it. Yeah. There are certain things beyond our control. Beyond our control, Allah akan maafkan. Umum balwa in fiqh, in usul al-fiqh, we have what is called umum al-balwa, things that beyond our control, things that, you know, how we translate umum al-balwa in English? Yeah? Yeah? Give some example, macam tu lah kena tiup angin. You cannot do anything about it. Yes. Yep. Lower the gaze. The first gaze is okay, but not the second. Yes? The first gaze, but the long gaze. No, at the end of the day, it's just like the hadith of Prophet when he mentioned it's in hadith 40, it's in the 40 hadith where Rasulullah said the sinful things is the one that you feel what? Not ashamed. The one that you feel inside your heart what? Guilty. Mahaka fi sadrika. The one you feel guilty of doing it, walau yuftikal muftun. Even if you get all the muftis telling you it's halal, you know it's haram. So the longest, you just need to ask, if istafti qalbak, you need to ask your heart. Okay. I think it's good. Okay. Thank you very much, and I'm terribly sorry to boring you guys, and I hope you did learn something. Okay, good. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika. Asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum. We have two important announcements. Inshallah, tomorrow the fourth session at 9 a.m. here by Brother Nuru. And then regarding other program that we will be conducting together with Brother Nuru and Sister Salatu. Tonight, 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at IDT Center. We can Google IDT Center or Waste IDT Center at Wangsa Maju. 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. tonight, the role of women in Da'wah. And then we have the second program is on 3rd of October. 3rd of October, together with Brother Nuruddin and Sister Salatu, on building a Muslim family. That one from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Still in IDT Center. Sorry? 3rd October, definitely not Monday. Hari apa? 3rd October? Sunday. Oh, public holiday, is it? Public holiday. Awal Muharram, yeah. 3rd October, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in IDT Center. That one have fee, 150. And then another program together with Brother Nuru is on Unity in Diversity, the course on Usul and Maqasid, but that one focus on medical aspect. That one will be conducted in IDT Center 2 on 1st and 2nd October in IDT Center. And for that one, it costs 250. So if anyone interested to join, you can get further information from our registration counter outside, and the registration can be done there. So we hope, inshallah, tomorrow we can meet up again here at 9 a.m. sharp, inshallah. And for those who are interested to join our program tonight at IDT Center, are most welcome. Assalamu alaikum.